right, howdy, folks. Welcome back. I told you I would be back. So, as if Spain's not getting flooded, now they're getting hit with tornadoes, too. What a chaotic mess going on. All right, let me get this just a tad bit better. There we go. All right, so let's get this show on the road. Okay. First off, let's get this centered. And while this is rolling here, I take a moment to thank you guys for taking a moment of your precious time to be a part of this precious family. Okay. If you stick around for the spiritual report, you will see there's much more to this channel than you think. Not your everyday, average, ordinary YouTube channel. Okay. So let's just go ahead and pop in with what data we have. Okay. Opening frame, oddly enough, is 324. Where have we heard that number before? So as we go through this, you can see we skip right here to 1012. So we missed a bunch, but we have this event going on up here. You can see this going on right next to the spire region. Okay, these spires act like compass needles pointing at magnetic fields out here that are with, sucking on off of the sun here, withdrawing plasma there. So as we continue out, here comes this object moving through that one. Then we have another skip in data. So we lose the tail end. Here's the tail end of that event. Meanwhile, we got another one going on down here. And as this proceeds on out, we have this image right here. Okay, you see the big dent in the reading right here on the red little dotted line there. You can see our black object with plasma around it and teardrop shape coming off of it. Okay, over here as well, you can see our dark black object surrounded by plasma with these streaks running back. Okay, and that was at 2000 on the 31st. And that thing moved. Here's the ghost image. But there you can see it moved on out. There's clearly an object there. Okay, so that's about it as far as our data. Okay, and that was on the 31st. Now, the reason why I'm showing you that is because today, the 1st, let's look at this data, shall we? Well, there's not much to look at because it's all over the place. It starts off at 4, skips to this, skips to that. So odd how we get all these certain frames of these clearness, but no frames of the event. Kind of odd, isn't it? Just coincident how that happens. All right, so let me just kind of pause really quick here. Take you through this jumbled mess. It starts at 424 with absolutely nothing on the screen. And then when something starts to happen, skips to 23, from 8 to 23. So most of your data there is just not there. Okay, and what we can do is come over here to stereo A, but it doesn't look like there's much of an event. There was a tail end of something leaving right there at the very opening frame. Right here, you can see the teardrop effect. You can actually see the back side of our object right here. Almost looks like right in there. But that's it for today on the 1st. They don't have much data there, so thought I would show you yesterday since I missed the Halloween here. That was a rough Halloween. Oh my gosh. Oh boy, we'll talk about that in the spiritual report. Meanwhile, let's get on over here. Here we are. Our solar flux indice is 260. Okay, we're almost getting up to that 300 range. It is down 10 points, which is good. So that's good. But our solar and sunspot number count is still in the red. We're up 23 spots. Okay, so that kind of tells me that we got another big object with a bunch of new little satellites coming in. Just added another 23 sunspots. Okay, meanwhile, your area is in the red too. What I'm going to do is pop this open and zoom in here for you guys just really quick. Take a look at our sunspot regions here, 3878 with these two little different configurations right here. This one has no red, but this one has a close configuration. 3881 is another one to kind of watch that's coming around. Meanwhile, we have this huge mess over here, 38, 69, 72, 71, 68, and 76, this whole big old blob that is finished off. It's kind of rotating out of the strike zone now, but there still is our IMF line hookup right around here that it could cross with and spark a little CME or a little flare or anything. Also, don't miss this little 3881 right there too. Okay, so what we'll do is gonna take you and slide you over and dip you. And what I want to talk about here is how fluxed we are. Goes X-ray flux, that is. Now, as you can see, yesterday we had an X2.0, I believe. Yeah, an X2 flare here, okay? Now, there's not much data on this. It's all it's all missing and stuff. So it might be the little event that we saw coming out down the bottom, but for today, here was your bumpy day that you saw little bits and parts of. Now there's not much activity going into tomorrow. And here it is right here. I mean, we could open it up, but I have a feeling now that even if we take a peek, that there's not going to be much to look at because they're just taking it out anyways. But you can see this area where the spire regions are right here is coming to life right there. So there's a little peek into tomorrow right there. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is pull back here and get on with the get on. All right, your 3-day geomagnetic forecast still all clear. That's good. We could use, as much clear geomagnetic activity as possible. I don't want to see any more geomagnetic storms. We've already had way too much. Meanwhile, the global D-layer absorption map, for 7 days now, we've had this absorption event. Now it's hitting more the southern hemisphere. Okay, now when we go back to 3 days ago from today would have been the 29th. Not much there. Let's take a peek at the 30th here. Yeah, we had this event come out down the southern part, so something may have traveled underneath the planet and is sparking more of a storm on the southern hemisphere than the north, okay? Meanwhile, X-flare potential 35%, M-flare 75%. Our proton event is still underway, but it's 50%. It's mainly in the southern hemisphere, not so much in the northern. That's a little different. Usually it's evenly distributed on both sides, but apparently it's way more intense on the south than on the north. That tells me one of these objects is passing by the planet, and its magnetic field is interacting with ours, but more so on the southern hemisphere than the northern. Meanwhile, over here, here's your your X2.0 flare that caused a radio burst, a little blackout probably. All right. Meanwhile, M9.4. M2.0, 2.7 and 2.0. So we've had a strong M9.4 as well there. Okay. So we have energy possibly on the way here. We'll get into that here in a minute. Meanwhile, here's your auroras. They're at normal level, nothing too bright. They're not really all that dim either. You can see our KP is unsettled now, but not so bad. We're clear down here at KP less than 1. So we went up, first had this little spike here yesterday, come up, here's another little one, and then we come down. Now we're at less than KP1 right now. So probably about to get another little impact, maybe. Well, we'll see. They don't expect anything up here, so I pray that there's nothing on the way. But I've already seen some spirals, and they're showing differently. Meanwhile, 38, 78 beta gamma, 76 beta gamma, 75 beta gamma, and 69 beta gamma. This one growing, but this one declining, and the other 69 is stable. Okay, so let me take a little sip here. So here's the visible disk to start the new month of November. There are currently 11 numbered numbered active regions. They're visible, at least one more in the formation. So solar activity is expected to continue at moderate levels with M flares as we head into the next weekend, with a chance for another isolated X flare. Okay, chance for another isolated X flare. Watch out, you guys. Active geomagnetic conditions, KP4 is forecasted for the next 72 hours. Okay, and that's due mainly to the coronal hole stream effects and CME that was expected to pass just upstream from Earth. Okay, so there was one that was expected to pass, but it's upstream from Earth. Now, it should be noted that the first time in nearly a week, proton levels measured by GOES 18 spacecraft have dipped below the radiation storm threshold. But that was a long duration event. I'm going to pop this open really quick here and see what we're lacking, since we are lacking some tracking. And bingo, here comes a shot right across the bow. Bam, right? A lot of it going south. Right here, here's your north-south, but it's still clipping us. Okay, so another one of these events where something comes off of the sun or interacts with the sun, causes the CME, still travels towards the Earth and goes underneath it. See how a lot of the CME material is going underneath it? So don't be surprised if we see the proton event on the southern hemisphere do another one of the southern hemisphere events, just like this, again, when this brushes by the Earth. Wow, stuff moving over here. Okay, meanwhile. Over here, I just want to point out their impact here is also expected, but expected around the 4th, right on the cusp of the 4th, the 3rd and the 4th right there. Okay, so we'll note that for later during the weather forecast. Okay, now coming back here just really quick. Also, 3878 just produced an X 2.0 solar flare peaking at 2100. GOES X-ray solar rays remain near the X-class threshold at the time of this update. So, although a long duration and bright flare, the lack of coronal dimming and no type 2 radio emissions suggest that a coronal mass ejection CME will not be associated with this event that happened here on October 31st, the 2.0. But it's hard to tell because we don't have the data, the actual visual on it. So we're just going to have to kind of go with these guys. And although a long duration and bright flare, there's no CME. Well, why is there tracking a CME? And why don't we have the data on it when we clearly have it here? Just very weird coincidences. Remember that image on the sun I was showing you? That's a little man-made image, but that's no joke. That face that I showed you on the sun was real. Okay, it's not that, but it's actually scarier than this because it's real. So, in an unnerving turn of spooky events, the M7.2 solar flare yesterday did not unleash a coronal mass ejection. The eerie M flares will remain likely during the next 24 hours. Okay, so. All right, but that one face that I showed you on the sun, here's a little mock-up, but I'll show you one that's a real one that will scare you to pieces. Well, not if you get a good foundation, actually, no. Now let's get into this. The South Pole radio blackout for the 7th day in a row. I repeat, and you see it in front of you, 7th day in a row. Energetic protons from the sun are raining down on Earth. November rain, yeah, is more like protons raining down on Earth. That's November rain. Anyways, it's almost an S1 class radiation storm resulting from the collective action of 3 X-class solar flares since October 24th. These protons are causing shortwave radio blackouts inside the Antarctic Circle. Okay, the red zone show where shortwave radio transmissions are strongly dampened. Okay, we all know that, but I want you to take note for the 7th day in a row, this radiation proton event for 7 days in a row. That's a long duration. That's a lot of absorption. Now, you know I'm a stickler for absorption because that stuff has effects later on. As far as earthquakes, volcanoes, SO2 emissions, the Earth is much like a battery. It's a capacitor. And when you overcharge a battery, well, you're going to get some bad side effects too. All right, so there's your 7-day long proton event, okay? Now what I want to do, get rid of that and get rid of this. I got pages and pages and pages with another page to open here. So let's get the Schumann pulled up here really quick. Everybody take a deep breath in, hold it, and exhale. Good continuity. Not a little, there's one little spot right here where there was a little weakening, but not too bad. So all in all, some good continuity, pretty smooth for the last few hours, for the last couple of hours here, the last 48 hours. We did have a little slight grinding right there, but nothing too bad. And this is your core of your planet spinning inside its shell or outer core. That core spinning inside of a metal ball spinning inside of like a magma type pressurized outer shell creates a magnetic field. Okay, and that magnetic field propagates outward from the ground out into space, and that's our shield, our magnetic field, and it hums much like high voltage wires hum. Well, it hums at 7.83 hertz, and that's what our Schumann is. Okay, and this is what every animal and people on the planet need, this frequency, or else you'll lose your mind and become violent and kill people. They forgot to provide this, and the Russian space cosmonauts went nuts and lost their minds and killed each other in the capsule because there was no 7.83. So this affects people, animals as well. And what we want to see is good continuity, no really big flares or fluctuations, and that's good right there. So good news on the Schumann for right now. And also an indication here, just look really up here at the top, you see these streaks going across. These are lower frequencies. We are grinding just a tad bit, and it's causing just little scrapes along here at lower frequencies. Okay, so there is still a little background noise, but it's really low frequencies below our 7.83. Okay, so the pressure, it has evened out, but it's evened out right where the boundary between the core and the shell is just razor thin. It's barely nicking and scraping, and so that boundary is really close. There's a lot of pressure that's been built up and relieved, and now we get back to a neutral spot where pressure is kind of neutralized, but we're right there at the cusp. Okay, now while we're at this, I want you to see this air that's flowing from the southern hemisphere up into the northern hemisphere. This is your intertropical convergence zone. This should be down at the equator, but it has shifted north. Okay, and you can see over here, still creeping up, but not as high. And this whole area has changed now. The whole structure has changed. And we're going to start doing polar vortex reports too, because that is now starting to ramp up. Okay, so what I'm going to do really quick here is take you up to the storm levels really quick. Just take a few vortexes. Here's a big storm, strong storm brewing out there. Okay, meanwhile, China and Taiwan just had their butts handed to them with a big Category 5 typhoon. And we'll talk about China here. They're going to have some issues here pretty soon. Okay, so there's that. Now, what I'm going to do is take you clear up here, way up high, to our polar vortex. Now, as we see here, our polar vortex is starting to form. We got a whole circular connection now. So when it finally connects up, that's what I consider a full vortex. And you can see this, the lead that's feeding into it coming up from here. And look how energy from the south hooking up to this jet and getting pulled up into the northern polar vortex here. So everything's in transition here. See here at the bottom of the world, let me just let that spin for a second. You can see it's bipolar. Okay, their vortex is split now. So the energy of one vortex has been split in half. And you can almost see there's a third trying to rob it of energy too. So this one's breaking down. There's Risk 603. Good to see you back. Keep coming back. All right, so You can see we have like at least a two-way, almost a three-way split. So this polar vortex breaking down as the northern polar vortex starts to organize, take form, get configured and everything. So there's your polar vortex for right now. And this is going to play into our weather here this winter in a way that, oh boy. Now, here's your lower, a little bit lower right here. Okay, you can see how it's struggling, but it's all kind of coming together. And now I'm going to take you to your upper jet. This is your upper jet stream. All getting wonky. All these weird little dips, valleys, little currents, eddies, and stuff because we're going into transition. Now we're going to go down to your lower jet, your lower jet stream, which kind of controls the weather, takes weather patterns along the routes and stuff. And for right now, here's your southern or your lower jet stream, but we're still seeing weather being affected by our thermal pockets, our sea surface temperature anomalies. Okay, so we're going to go back down to storm level. We're going to pop into some particulates. We're going to do the sandstorm report here. Take off the wind, my bad. Hope everybody's doing okay out there, hanging tough. It's been quite a battle. Whoa. That looks like a bull blowing smoke out his nose. All right, let's get into it, shall we? Now you can see these little patches of intensity. They're blowing out across the Atlantic here, kind of hampering hurricane production in this area, which is good. We need as much sand out there as we can get. As you can see, it's getting blown up here, up into Europe and stuff, spread out over here. You can see this face is still there. It's just kind of hiding, flaring up every once in a while. But you can see Saudi Arabia, the Middle East, everybody getting inundated with sand as well now. So, yeah. If you knew this was all a spiritual realm warfare, spiritual warfare going on, and what you're seeing is really there. Crazy, crazy. All right, let's get on to our SO2 report, shall we? So SO2, not CO2. This is sulfur dioxide, basically vaporized magma. Okay, the magma is pushing on the underside of the crust and wants to come up through any perforations or path of least resistance. Okay, so what's going on here is we have pressure pushing up, magma wants to come out, but it can't. These little perforations are super small and only the gas can escape. So we're seeing SO2 emissions. So now we got our country divided. You got this side that's very porous, soft kind of land. It's a very spongy type crust that has a lot of pores in it, and it's bleeding out over on this side. Meanwhile, this side of the country is more granite, mountainous, tougher, thicker crust. So the SO2 emissions come from your volcanic emission sites. All right, so there you go. There's your country divided. If you think it's divided now, wait until after November 5th. It will be well, we'll get into that in the spiritual report. That's why we do spiritual report, to prepare you for what is to come. Now, we're going to add the fires to this report because last year we had a lot of fire activity that was induced by SO2 emissions up here in Canada. Now this year, this activity has actually traveled south into the lower 48, and we're seeing fires here in Oregon, Washington, Idaho here, for instance, in this case, Wyoming, Montana. We've seen some fires in these regions that are produced by the SO2 emissions. Now, the SO2 comes out of the ground so hot. I mean, it's like vaporized magma. So the gas comes out so hot that any kind of vegetation around is just going to spontaneously combust and catch on fire. And a lot of our wildfires have been started by underground activity. They won't tell you that. They'll blame it on some homeless dude and whatever, move on. But meanwhile, here you can see a lot of our fire activity. Here's a new one going on just south of me here at a site. Here's some fire activity going on there. There's a good plume. Oop, there's a dot in here. See it right there? Okay, so there's a fire at this plume site. So this activity flares up every time we get a bunch of energy from the sun, and it absorbs into the planet. The planet, much like a overcooked hard-boiled egg, it expands from the inside out. And our plate boundaries are basically the cracks in the eggshell, the cracks in the crust. Any other little man-made perforations bleed out this SO2, and we're sparking fires at some of these sites. All right, now we'll take the fires off. It's doing okay. The chat room disappeared and got quiet. Okay. All right, cool. You guys are doing all right. Never mind. I'll just shut up and keep going. All right. Meanwhile, Mexico, you see their little emission sites all over the place. Let me just tell you something. You guys get so desensitized every time I show you this. Back when all this stuff started happening to me 7 years ago, I think it was BP Earthwatch found 4 little dots that ran along the Sierra, and everybody in the internet world freaked out. Oh my God, it got so much attention and acknowledgement. Well, now 4 dots, man, we got the whole planet bleeding out here, and nobody really reports or bats an eye at this, except for me. I think there's probably a few out there to do, but I haven't seen them. Anyways, there's your stuff in Mexico. You can see Cuba, Jamaica, all filling in, turning purple. Meanwhile, these islands out here, all of them, every single island is spewing SO2. They're all volcanic islands, and every one of them gets, every time there's a burp of pressure that comes up from down below, well, these little guys spit out a bunch of SO2. Now, as we come down through here, also, all these are individual sites. So imagine 4 of these little dots stop the whole world and make everybody pay attention. Well, now what's going on? Where's the attention now? Well, I think it's too scary of a subject, really, to address. It's only for real mature audiences like yourselves. Anyways, right here we have this little bald patch. This is where we've had a lot of quake activity, and I believe the bigger quake here may have like shuffled some dirt around down below and closed off some of these. And it also relieves a lot of the pressure in this area. So we saw a bunch of spots disappear. Meanwhile, right next to it is our fulcrum point. Very strong here at the second dot. The top one's pretty strong. Our newest addition here is pumping right along. So that tells me there's a little flare up of pressure that just kind of came up to the surface. Nice and dark purple there. Big SO2 plume going out into the ocean here, okay? Oh boy, so here we go. We're going to stop in at Hawaii because the Pacific Rim, much like a bicycle rim, is got a hub. And this would be the hub of the Pacific Rim. And if you get pressure breaking along all the fracture zones, well, right in the middle at the hub, pressure wants to come out there too. And that's where Hawaii comes in handy. It vents the pressure in the middle of that. And strong SO2 emissions coming out of Oahu and Maui and a little bit out of Hawaii, but typical emissions that we've seen for a while now. Now we're going to come over here to China and the east here. Let me back up and adjust for their time zone. All right. So again here, we have China, and they're bleeding out really bad. Okay, their emissions are bigger dark stripes with black areas in them. Okay, the black is the maximum. And these perforations that travel down through the crust, these little, almost like elevator shafts that go down through the crust. Well, this SO2 comes up through that. Then it rains. Water goes down through that elevator shaft, eroding it, making it wider. That shaft gets wider and bigger each time more gas comes out, more rain goes in, more gas comes out, more and more over and over and over again. It's going to turn the ground basically into mud, okay? And this SO2, well, it reeks of rotten eggs, okay? And if China keeps messing around, this whole area is going to burst like a fart in a mud puddle. India's following suit. They got their issues, a lot of sites going on. The rotation in this area kept pushing this up against the Himalayas and it wouldn't creep over. So, thus concentrating and recirculating it over and over in this region. And they're getting darker too. Meanwhile, this area, as you can see, is all filling in. Look at all these little spots just peppered all through that region. And same thing can happen here too. Okay, you're messing around with the wrong. You guys don't even realize where you are. Okay, and this region's in hot water. You've seen them two eyes looking at both of these regions, and you can see there's something spiritual warfare going on. There's some countries there that have some issues. Okay, let's get into Java down here. This place has its issues because it's just one big long volcanic bank, okay? And it spews so much SO2, it's like our relief valve, the purple island of Java. And I come over here every once in a while to take a good little peek, and you can see that it's nice and dark purple all the way through. That's another indication that we have pressure ongoing right now, pushing more SO2 out through the gap, out through the top there. Okay, now we come over here to Australia. They used to be free of this issue, but not anymore. Their sites are opening up too. It's basically the middle here of in the outback here of Australia is the only place. I want to touch base over here. This is our deep quake zone with Fiji here, and we have SO2 emissions coming out of there. And this boat-shaped island right here that acts as a relief valve, kind of leaking pressure at the plate boundary entrance right there, keeping magnitudes, earthquake magnitudes down a little bit there. Whew. Yeah, fart in a mud puddle. They better stop playing games, or they're just the place is going to dissolve. Okay, other little regions around the world you can see. Now let's get on over here to our sea surface temperature anomalies. Just checking in with these really quick to make sure kind of new openings or anything we've had. Now we have so much volcanic activity above water on the surface. 69, almost 70 active volcanoes. Well, 2/3 of the Earth's surface is underwater, so you're going to have all that activity underwater as well. Okay, we come over here, check this triangle structure. It's diminishing. It used to be very dark yellow or very bright yellow, and now it's dulling. So a lot of pressure has been reduced in this area, which is good. We had off the Juan de Fuca here, we had a 6.0 or a little 6 magnitude quake. And you remember how intense yellow it was there in that region? Well, look how it's relieved a lot of pressure. This is all fading. We do seem to have a new little opening spot right here that's just further out from this opening that we had here at Northern California. But above that, Northern California, on the coast of Oregon, right where we just had the Juan de Fuca, you can actually see the corner right here in the temperature. That is awesome. When we come over to the earthquake map, I'll show you where this comes out and turns and goes up, and you'll see this corner right there. And cold water inundation coming in up here too. So new little hot spot right there that's relieving pressure, but we still have a little bit creeping here and there. Look down here at lower Los Angeles. This is diminished, the temperatures and pressure and stuff, emissions there. So all of this area is kind of diminished. Meanwhile, we look back over here, it's because this whole side has just totally flared up. We've had a bunch of new openings all through here. I mean, we had this big blob out there before, but as you can see, this whole area has really come to life here in the last few days. Look at over here at Taiwan. Holy shit. All right, Sometimes I cuss. I'm trying not to. I'm working on that. Every once in a while it slips. But we haven't seen yellow inundation like that around Taiwan in a long time. At the same place where we just saw Category 5 typhoon level these two places. You got hot water here, cold water here. Hot air forms over this, cooler air over this. Hot air rises, cold air rushes in to replace it, and you get vortex activity. Oh man, look at that. Taiwan needs a good quake. They're going to have a big quake here soon, I think. And up here by Japan, too. This is really coming to life right here off the coast of Japan, right there. It used to be the brightest spot around, then this took over Tomomasi area, but look at how all that has filled in now. Oh, ho, ho. We've had a bunch of new openings in this area, and pressure has transferred from this over to this. Can you tell? Here, let's just do one of these. Can I get this just right? I want to kind of... We're going to tilt the planet a little bit. I want to get these two regions outside of this box here. I want to come to the calendar. Let's go back a month. All right, so you can see where all of our yellow down here around Japan and area, and then not so much up there. Let's go back a month. See how there's way more yellow over here, not so much in this area. Well, not as bad, but still. You see that there was a good transfer there of pressure over to this side. Watch out, this region, you guys are going to be in for nasty weather. Yeah, hot water, and we're going into our cooler seasons where cooler air is going to mix with this hot air and produce severe weather. Also, look at this spot that's opened up south of Taiwan here, down on the ocean floor. That's a new spot as well. That's going to change patterns up. Also, we got this area over here. Looking in at Java. Java used to have cold water around it, even in the summertime. But that's all changed because of, different openings. And we have heat behind it here and on this little island right there. Okay, these islands starting to light up here off the coast of Sumatra. Sorry, all over the place. Meanwhile, there's a few little 3 spots in a row that have opened up here. Look at this spot that's opened up off the coast of Madagascar. Look at the tip of South America. All these little hot spots are all volcanic vents on the ocean floor. Okay, we had a couple over here, too, that were messing up our La Nina, and it looks like they're firing up again, this one, and they're continuing to disrupt these curvatures. You get these wave-type structures, these curvatures in your La Nina to induce the pattern, and it's just been leveled out all because of these 2 little hot spots right here. See them? Meanwhile, look up here in the Hudson Bay. Getting really hot up there. We got this area. Look up. What? Look at this up here, you guys. Ay, 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 ay. All right, let's try to do our... The heck is that? Kitty, what are you doing? Yeah, I figured. It's just a ghost playing games. That's okay. Hang on, folks. All right, well, we managed to wake up the house with poltergeist activity. Yeah, smoke alarm's going off, but there's nothing burning. It's one smoke alarm in one section of the house, but there's nothing going on there. And I know what's going on. We got activity around here sometimes. It just likes to interrupt things. Make sure no other interruptions. All right, thank you for bearing with me there. Now we got to get moving here. Lost time here. Let's get this earthquake report done out of the way. You guys hanging tough out there? Good, good, good. Hopefully you're understanding this, learning, enjoying learning. I do not get it. Okay, so here we go. Deep quake region, starting off with our 5.3 down at 580. Okay, so that's a deep quake, and it's a bigger than our normal magnitude by almost a full magnitude. We're used to seeing mid-range 4s. This is almost a mid-range 5. So mid-range 5, way down deep. Indication of pressure. Here's a mid-range 4, a little higher up. So pressure coming up through the strata, getting closer to the surface here, 4.4. Now there's no quake here in the plate boundary system right now. Meanwhile, we got this island that vents a lot of that pressure via SO2 emissions. So SO2 keeps the magnitudes down, keeps the quakes down. We have volcanic islands through here that are venting and active, so that keeps the earthquake activity down. We come into this one right here. This is your 4.9 down at 34. You know what we do with 4.9s here? One of the longest lists in the world. One of the longest lists in the world is the 4.9 magnitude readings at the USGS site. 4.3 down at 413, this little region right here known for a little deeper quakes. So when pressure comes up and it's at the deeper levels, we get tendency to get a quake in this region. Okay, coming up through here, a little bigger quake, a little bigger magnitude here, 5.4 down at 48. That's definitely on the flank of some kind of volcanic feature. Okay, here we are over at the island of Java. It was all purple. It's spewing a bunch of SO2. I bet you Merapi and these volcanoes here are going off, and it's still not enough because they're still having quakes here at 4.6 magnitude right by the surface here. So there's energy being scrubbed right there because there's not enough. Pressure's building under that region. I showed you the yellow building up around Taiwan here. Here we have had a 5.0 at the surface here, relieving pressure just south of the fulcrum point. Okay, so that's relieving pressure in that region. Touch base with that. 0.5 at the surface there. Which side? Let's go this side first. Okay, just off your fulcrum point here. This is a very strange fulcrum point, but it is one. Okay, on this backside, this lake region here, you see this whole bubble, almost another teardrop structure right here. All these lakes in this region. And just outside of it in the crustal, like all these fault areas through here, you got a 4.1 at the surface. Energy being scrubbed at the surface here in the lake region again, the 4.6 at the surface. So some of the energy in Japan or in China here getting scrubbed at the surface here. I bet you this is another surface quake. Yeah, 4.7 at 10 there. This one will be a little deeper at this fulcrum. 4.7 at 119. Anything in Europe? Wow. Very quiet around this place. It's eerily quiet. We had a quake in Africa that was a 4.6, and it was at the surface, scrubbing energy along that region. Okay, we come up through this plate boundary system. We got a 4.7 at Volcano Island. Earthquake activity at a volcano island. I gotta laugh at that. 4.4 at the surface there, and 4.6 a little deeper right there, but that's scrubbing energy. You notice we've seen that yellow, whoops, inundation in this region. We're seeing a little uptick in activity in there. Meanwhile, let's go do South America. Whoa. Now that's very odd. Nothing along this whole plate boundary today. Look how quiet South America is. It's absolutely naked. There's no quakes even down here, no plate boundary quakes, nothing. So watch out when it gets quiet like that. We got strong SO2 emissions, but if it's not enough, you're going to see a volcanic eruption or a good sized quake along that plate boundary. I want to come up here, do a quick magnitude check to see if everything's 3.2, 3.8. That's about the average these days. It has an uptick in its new average. Okay. Let me get, all magnitude for the US of A, America, the closing days of America. All right, microquakes going along these volcanic islands right here. Plate boundary probably 3.5 at the surface right there in the boundary. Almost looks like there's another one there. No, I thought there was something hiding under there. Okay, inside the plate right here, another 2.8. Ooh, there's a 4.0. That's the first little bigger magnitude we've seen in there in a little while. We come up to our fulcrum points, all microquaking through there. Fulcrum point right there, 1.7. Very quiet around the Juan de Fuca right now. Okay, but we have had a little quaker right here. Little quaking on the flank of Rainier. Nothing at St. Helens today. Okay. So here's your little point. Northern California comes out. Here's your Juan de Fuca, comes up and zigzags. Oops, come here. There's your spot. Comes out, starts to zigzag and goes right on up. You can see the cold water on one side. Hot water still, or little openings have relieved pressure right here. Kind of zigzagging through there. Okay, so came up, boom, boom, boom. This whole plate still has little warm spots in it, but there's cold water all through there. Okay, and some of that bigger quake out here actually brought cold water out to this region. So we're seeing the quakes relieve pressure, and eventually we're seeing cold water inundation along that area. Okay, I think we'll just do a couple of little ones really quick here. What's going on here? Okay. 2.9 at the surface. Okay. Again here, the geysers do a lot of microquaking, relieving pressure before it comes down through the Hayward fault system, San Andreas there, keeping magnitudes and activity down. I want to get into this little area. Seems to have kind of come to life here with a few quakes here by Tom's Place. They're nothing big, but they're venting energy at the surface here in that area. Little microquaking, really a lot less activity and a lot smaller along this teardrop shaped structure. So pressure that I showed you, the temperatures here have relieved, and so is the quake activity. Meanwhile, let's get on over here because we got something going on here. Our man-made perforations in the crust, 4.2 magnitude here in New Mexico. Backed up with some 3 magnitude. Couple little ones here. Okay, so this little section where they're working here has really created a spot of weakness, and every time we get a new round of pressure, well, we get an uptick in magnitude, and there's clearly an uptick in magnitude right there Indication of pressure down below, trying to get its way to the surface. Okay, New Madrid, nothing through there. Nothing along the, Creighton. We did have a 1 up here, 1.8 up here in Maine. This is a little spot to watch. It might be a new little path of least resistance, new little weak spot, because we have a new round of pressure that came in, and any kind of little burps that happened during that time frame are indications of a new weak spot. Okay, I believe we kind of covered it all. Let's just go into Hawaii really quick because they're currently having activity here. Okay, most of it's usually on land here, right around the volcano. You got some 2.6 magnitude, but look at this flurry here that's come to life off the shore here with a bunch of red ones here. 2.6, the latest one is a 3.3. It just happened. So your biggest magnitude was a 3.3, earlier 3.4. So quite a little flurry going on right here off the coast of Hawaii, possibly a new little seamount out there coming to life. If you follow the island chain, how it grew, boom, 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 this latest island being Hawaii, well, in that progression would be out here next. So you're seeing a new island starting to form possibly out here. You can see these little seamounts that are right next to it. These are small little volcanic vents on the ocean floor. So you could possibly start seeing a new island coming to life there. There's your earthquakes. Let's get rid of some of these instruments now so we can open up a volcano page that has a lot of eating power and eats up a lot of storage. All right, erupting 36, warning 33. In total, that's 69 volcanoes altogether. 7 years ago when this started happening to me, if I'd have told you back then that, 7 years from now we're going to have 70 volcanoes, you would have just laughed and said, Brian, you're crazy. There's only one active volcano for the last 25 years. What are you talking about, 70 volcanoes? You're crazy. Well, here we are, 7 years later, and basically 70. I don't even count these ones at unrest, okay? I don't even add those to the equation. I just do those two. So roughly 70 volcanoes, and I'm still crazy about you. Okay, let's get into it. Shibuya up on the Kamchatka Peninsula, reporting a 14,000 foot blast. Canalone erupting 10,000. So some new players, 10,000 foot blast right there. Luatobi, a 10,000 foot blast. Popocatépetl, the one with the heart-shaped emission I showed you the other day, right next to Mexico City, 26,000. A couple days ago when I reported, we were looking at 29 and 24 foot thousand blasts. So the people that are living next to that volcano are probably starting to get a little nervous. I would if I had those kind of blasts getting right next to a big city. Reventador still going at Ecuador. Namiragira, feeble eruption. Okay, that's just in the last few minutes, okay, because that's not even, here's today. Time flies so fast at this channel that we're already having volcanoes in the next day. This map is absolute insanity when you wrap your mind around what's going on here. All these things going off every day. Every time one of these goes off, it's more ash into the atmosphere. We are already seeing wicked weather from the emissions we've gotten so far. Every day, we're just adding more and more and more and more and more. Every time the sun kicks out something, it's just more and more and more. Ah, boy. Sacamember Gira, 7,000 feet. Canalone, again, 11,000, or no, 110,000 feet. No, 11,000 feet, my bad. Ibu, IBU at 7,000. I wouldn't get one of these dogs right now if I were you, unless you give it to your mother-in-law. 7,000 feet. No, I'm joking. Luatobi, 10,000 feet. Semeru, 14,000. Okay, Semeru on the island of Java every day going off. 14,000. It broke its own record and made 15,000 for quite a while. Now it's back down to 14. But with this latest round of pressure coming, I wouldn't be surprised to see Semeru jump to 15 here and there. Dukono, 8,000 feet. Popocatépetl, here we go, 21,000. So this was earlier today, 21,000. We just saw Popocatépetl at 29. Was that the last one we just saw? 24, 29, something like that. So there was an increase in pressure and an increase in altitude here at Popocatépetl since earlier today. Fuego, No VA, Reventador, 14,000 feet, Namiragira, feeble eruption. These lists are shame on the media. Let me just say shame on the media for not recognizing what's going on here. They are too involved in making money from political ads and political campaigns. Everybody who donated just made all the corporate networks extremely rich, and all the ads that run on YouTube. Oh, all these guys just got rich from all those politicians paying them for ad time. Meanwhile, nobody even knows, well, not nobody, but very few people know that this is going on. You can come over to this page, click on one and read about it. It currently erupting, not just every once in a while, currently erupting. And these in eruption warning, they're active. They're puffing and having, bubbling lava and SO2 emissions, little burps every once in a while when we have inbound pressure. So do not get desensitized by these lists. This should scare the crap out of every person on the planet. All right. Not people with a stable foundation, no. This was expected. Popocatépetl, 21,000 earlier, and I want to go back to Popocatépetl, 26,000. So it was 21,000 foot blast earlier today, and just now a 26,000 foot blast. So that's a jump in altitude, usually from an increase in pressure, shoving a higher blast. Whew. Okay, here we go with our tropical tidbits. Can we get some tidbits? Kibbles and bits? Tropical tidbits? Okay, now with our forecast models, I did not click on an ad. I clicked on forecast models. They're just ruthless. Okay, let me get rid of the volcano page here. Okay. Oh, we'll freeze up for a second while it's taking a moment here to do that. Every volcanic blast puts more ash in the atmosphere. All those thermal pockets evaporate more water into the air, water vapor, and more particulates for that water vapor to cling to. It's like you've added more fuel to the fire. You've added a bunch of logs to the fire and then poured gasoline on it too. So the particulates and added moisture have just quadrupled the output of what the air can hold. The air is holding a lot more water than it used to. These storms are producing heavier downpours, larger hail, stronger storms, higher cloud tops that just result in stronger hurricanes, stronger tornadoes, larger hail. This winter is going to be brutal, I think, you guys. Speaking of which, I think I would advise everybody to buy a wood-burning stove. Because if power goes out or gas goes out or any kind of utilities go out during the winter, the only source of heat is going to be burning wood. And you might have to trudge out into the snowstorm and cut your own wood just to stay warm and cook. I would get a wood-burning stove that you can cook on. All right. Meanwhile, the nighttime current conditions, night of November 1st, you see this storm coming into the Pacific Northwest. We're starting to get stormy conditions here, setting off my smoke detector. There's the morning of November 2nd, noon, convection, nighttime. You see the severe weather come together here. We saw those warm westerly or warm flow coming up through this region. Here comes cold air, warm air, cold air colliding. Boom. You see this cold boundary right here touching this warmer air, severe weather kicking up at noontime tomorrow. Severe weather in Oklahoma by convection, and then it keeps going even more severe into the nighttime. If that happens in the morning of November 3rd, watch out. Noontime, the 3rd. Convection again right there, the 3rd. Nighttime, the 3rd. Morning, the 4th. Noon, convection. Nighttime. Oh my. Everybody stop what you're doing right now. If you know people in this region right now, or if you are in this region, you need a big heads up. I would start warning people right now, because it's just moments away. This is the nighttime of November 1st. Current conditions, it's already brewing. It's coming together right now. That the nighttime air is mixing with this, and by the morning time, that cooler air that's coming, because overnight time is going to mix with this, and by noontime, we're not even convection yet. We're seeing severe weather. And that region just over and over and over again. That is going to be a gnarly event. All right, I'm not really too concerned about anything that happens after this, because weather is so volatile and so changes so quickly. But this right here is what our next concern tomorrow. Everybody in this region, let's start looking at this a little closer here. Oklahoma, northern Texas, Oklahoma, southern Nebraska by convection, and then the nighttime event is going to be Oklahoma up through Nebraska into Missouri. This, during the morning time, this could really screw things up. It catch people off guard when they're just waking up with the really severe outbreak right through Oklahoma. This whole region that just got hit is getting hit again. So stuff is training over that region. I would expect to see major flash flooding, tornadoes, heavy wind damage, lots of large hail. Look at this QLCS right here at nighttime, November 4th. That's not too far away, you guys. This is probably pretty accurate. And this big icing event and stuff up here as well. This is 10 p.m. Pacific. That'd be 10, 11, midnight. Midnight, when people are sleeping in the middle of the night, you're going to have this gnarly QLCS coming through. And that's a quasi-linear convective storm front. There's another linear band. See how intense that one is? Let me back up just a little bit. So these little two linear bands right here merge together. Boom. There's still morning of the 4th right there. That's going to catch a lot of people off guard, all the way up into Michigan, Illinois, Missouri. So then it kind of dissipates by noon. It doesn't dissipate, it just spreads out. And then there's this storm up here in the Pacific Northwest hitting too. Let me back that up, because there's severe weather in that. At morning of the 4th, there's severe weather up here by Canada. There's the noontime here. Severe weather all along the coast at British Columbia up there. You guys up in that region, take cover tomorrow at noon. Or no, the 4th at noon. Sorry. So convection right there. Look at that. That is just going to be... Start warning people, family members in that area. I would evacuate, because that's going to train over and over and over again. You're talking flash flooding. It's going to fill all those rivers, all those little inlets, all those little tributaries are going to be overflowing. And then all that overflow is going to go into main rivers, which will then burst their banks. And it finally kind of finishes up by the morning of the 6th. So we go into noon, convection. Then this thing comes flying up into Florida by convection the 6th. There's nighttime, morning of the 7th, noon, convection, nighttime, morning of the 8th, noon, convection, nighttime. Dude, look at this. Morning of the 9th. Oh boy. Noon, convection. Does that look like a question mark or what? Noon the 9th, convection the 9th, nighttime the 9th, morning of the 10th, noon, convection, nighttime, 11, noon, convection, nighttime, 12, noon, convection, nighttime, 13, noon, convection, nighttime, 14. That event right there would be terrible. Especially over that region that just got hit. Oh, I pray that doesn't happen. Okay, that's way out there, so it's kind of beyond our scope of prediction. But these next 2.5 days in that region, I would warn people to get out of there, take precautions, get ready to be flooded. That's a lot of water training over that area. And then another storm like that thing right behind it, too, add insult to injury. So we're in that transition season where weather's just going to start to get spooky. Okay. All right. So there's your astrophysics, geophysics, how they're affecting the weather, the physics of the weather. And that's a lot. It's very disturbing and it can be very upsetting. So we need to do our metaphysics now, our spiritual report. Okay. We take a break from all this stuff and realize why all this is happening. Okay. It's all because of, well, what's happening to me. Okay. So I'm going to take down some of this. I got a lot of stuff to read to you guys tonight because the last bout that I have been through was a living hell, and I saw it coming. I tried to avert it, tried to do everything I could to help people, well, avert it, but it still happens anyway. So I learned a lot from it, and I know what you guys are about to encounter as far as our elections and everything that too. So we're going to need as many tools in our spiritual warfare toolbox that you can have, because you're going to need to practice these disciplines to keep your wits about you as we continue through this process. It gets very agitating, irritating, and painful at points. Okay, so I'm trying to help guide you through that so it's not as painful, not as irritating, and you get a little idea of what's happening here. Okay, you're being tested. Okay, we got that one. What's the other one? I don't know what I'm doing now. We have to go through all these ads again. Somebody in big trouble. Oh, the teacher's here watching. He's looking through the window, Kamala. He sees what you guys are doing. All right, so pretty weird thing happened here. Gentleman captured my face out by the moon. Been showing up in the clouds, showing up in here, all over the place. So, no, that's not the one I wanted. We're going here. That one's the one I wanted. All right, so I got this weird condition where ever since right before the Revelation 12 star alignment, all kinds of paranormal activity been happening to me, and I've been trying to document as much of it as I can. Well, I kind of gave up after a while because it becomes a little too much. And sometimes it jams up computers and does all kinds of tricks with the smoke alarms. There we go. Okay, we're going to pull up a couple images, do some reading, and then we can also converse and have some questions, a little Q&A session or something too if you want. But meantime, daunting things that come into your life, impossible situations that are handed to you, and you're just like, wait, this isn't me, for me to do. This isn't my task, but somehow it still lands in your lap. This impossible circumstances, situation, are thrust upon you, even though you didn't ask for it or deserve it. And these daunting tasks, boy, they can really push you and test you, and you really find out more about yourself when you go through these things. So these daunting tasks can be kind of intimidating, and they can bring up anxiety and stuff. So when the task before you looks daunting, refuse to be intimidated. Discipline your thinking to view the challenge as a privilege rather than a burdensome duty. Make the effort to replace your I have to mentality to an I get to approach. Okay, so, I have to do this. Try turn around going, you know what? I get to do this. And it will make all the difference in your perspective. And it transforms the drudgery into delight. Okay, and I went into this dauntless task refusing to be intimidated, but I forgot to pray before it. I thought I was just going to take it on myself. I forgot to pray before it, and it became this burdensome duty. I started looking at it like, oh, I have to do this? Oh, why do I have to do this? Instead of, you know what? I get to do this. All right, so I got caught in one of these gnarly, dauntless tasks, okay, and I forgot to look at it the right way. So I know it's going to catch you guys. It's going to catch you off guard, and I want you when you're in the middle of that dauntless task and you're just pounding your fist, try to remember, I get to do this. That get to perspective. And this will make your drudgery into delight. It's not a magic trick. The work still has to be done. But the change in your viewpoint can help you face the challenging chore joyfully and confidently. Okay? Instead of being, just drudgery, you can face it a little more, challenging and turn it into delight with the changing of your viewpoint. Instead of I have to, I get to. I got caught in that, and it was a very painful experience because I kept looking at it like, oh, why do I have to do this? Instead of, wait, I get to do this. Okay. You gotta, it's hard to do. You have to take a moment, regain composure, pray, remind yourself, I get to do this. And try to change your viewpoint so it'll help turn your drudgery into delight. Now, as you go about your work, perseverance is essential. If you start to grow weary or discouraged, remind yourself again, I get to do this. Then thank me for giving you the ability and strength to do what needs to be done. Thankfulness clears your mind and draws you closer to me. Remember that my spirit who lives in you is the helper. So ask the Holy Spirit to help you when you're perplexed. As you ponder problems and seek solutions, He will guide your mind. And whatever you do, work at it with all your heart as if working for me. When you're doing that and you're working at stuff with all your heart as if you're working for me, then it's no longer drudgery, then it becomes the delight. But that you have to have that perspective, because I got caught in it, and oh man, I'm still paying for it, but at least I learned. Okay, and I know that you guys are going to have that experience coming very soon, and you're going to need that. Then another thing that's hot off the street here too. You got to hold things with loose hands, but cling tightly to my hand. Now, to be spiritually healthy, you must not overly attach. Must not be overly attached to your possessions. These are all blessings from me, so receive them with thankfulness, but don't forget that I ultimately am the owner of everything. It's also important to hold people with open hands. Okay, this is where I got hooked up again, too. It's important to hold people with open hands. Cherish your family and friends, yet beware of making them idols. If your life revolves around someone other than me, you need to repent, changing your ways, return to me, and make me your first love, seeking to please me above all else. Another thing to hold loosely is control over your circumstances. Boy, is that tough or what? It sounds easy, but it's really hard to hold loosely to control over your circumstances. So when your life is flowing smoothly, it's easy to feel as if you're in control. Enjoy these peaceful times, but don't cling to them either or think they are the norm. Instead, cling tightly to my hand again in good times and in hard times, at all times. Good times are better, and hardship is more bearable when you're trustingly depending on me. My abiding presence is your portion forever. My abiding presence, like right here, right now. Yo, hi, here I am. My abiding presence. Sitting here with book light shining on my face, looking down. That's my abiding presence, and it is your portion forever. Oh boy, I got that too. With what's on the backside? Oh, we got more. All right, so as we're getting into this part of the season, I know you're getting weak, and I know all this political stuff has made you weary, and you guys are getting weak and weary. I know you are. We're all trying to stay as strong as we can, but it can make one weak and weary. And don't be afraid to tell me how weak and weary or even overwhelmed you feel at times. I'm fully aware of the depth and breadth of your difficulties, and nothing is hidden from me. And although I know everything, I wait to hear from you. So pour your heart out to me, for I am your refuge. There can be a peaceful intimacy in sharing your struggles with me. You let down your guard and your pretense, and you get real with me. And you get real with yourself. Time to get real with yourselves, folks. It is. It's time to quit playing games, get real with yourself. You can let down your guard and your pretenses and get real with me and get real with yourself. Then you rest in the safety of my presence, trusting that I understand you perfectly and I love you with an everlasting love. That's an everlasting love right there. Okay. And that's the love that I have for you. So you can rest in the safety of my presence. You are not afraid. You're not in fear. You can rest in the safety of my presence, trusting that I understand you perfectly and I love you with an everlasting love. So take a deep breath, relax deeply with me, and release yourself from striving to perform. Release yourself from striving to perform. Be still, letting my presence refresh and renew you. When you are ready, ask me to show you the way forward. And remember that I never leave your side. I am holding you by your right hand. And this gives you courage, gives you confidence to continue your journey. As you go along your path, hear me saying, do not fear, I will help you. As you go along your path, hear me say, do not fear, I will help you. Throwing all these tools at you guys, giving you all this stuff that you're going to need, giving you your foundation, the rock on which you can build, the foundation on which you can fall back on and build on. Who do I want that one too? Yeah, here we go with more. Okay, I know a lot of people are in pain. I know you guys are suffering. All right. And suffering it's not easy and you can despise it. I'm in a lot of pain too. I'm almost paralyzed, broken back, walking around with a broken back, shattered hips. Oh gosh, it can be painful. And it gets very irritating and stuff, and you can despise it. But do not despise suffering. It reminds you that you are on a pilgrimage to a far better place. I do provide some pleasures and comforts along the way, but they are temporary. When you reach your final destination, your home in heaven, I will shower you with pleasures forevermore. In that glorious place, there will be no more death, or mourning, or crying, or pain. The fullness of joy you experience there will be permanent and never ending. And because you are my treasured follower, following me on YouTube, like people follow on Facebook, you follow, watch, and study everything I do. It makes you my follower, and because you are my treasured follower, I can promise that your suffering will come to an end someday. And therefore, try to view your troubles as momentary and light, producing for you an eternal weight of glory that's beyond all measure and surpassing all comparisons. Do you get that? You are producing for you an eternal weight of glory. You will have eternal glory beyond all measure and surpassing all comparisons. There's nothing to compare it to. Absolutely, you can't even come close to touching any kind of comparison. And while you continue your journey through this world, be thankful for the comforts and pleasures that I do bless you with. And reach out to others who are suffering. Reach out to others who are suffering. I comfort you in all your troubles so that you can comfort others. And we were talking about that last night or the other night. So, offering help to hurting people gives meaning to your suffering. Did you know that? Did you know that offering help to other hurting people gives meaning to your suffering. You can relate. All your suffering was meant for something. Now you can relate to somebody else who's in the same boat because you already went through it. Offering help now to those hurting people actually gives meaning to your suffering now, doesn't it? Doesn't it? All of a sudden, all of your suffering has meaning, and it's no longer suffering. You are getting experience to help others in the future with the same hurts that you had, that you experienced, and that you overcame. And you overcame them, and now you are able to show others how you did it. And you can comfort them in their troubles the same way I comfort you in your troubles. What else was the other one? Not this. What's on the back side? Yeah, here it is. Okay. Again, with the comfort, okay, it's important that you comfort others, especially during these trying times. Let my unfailing love be your comfort. Comfort eases grief and trouble. It also gives strength and hope. The best source of these blessings is my constant love that will never, ever fail you. My constant love that will never, ever fail you. Okay? Again, let my unfailing love be your comfort. It eases grief and trouble. It gives strength and hope. It's the best source of blessings is my constant love that will never fail you. And no matter what is happening in your life, this love can console you and cheer you up. However, you must make the effort to turn to me for help. I am always accessible to you, and I delight in giving you everything you need. Not all your wants, but everything you need. I have complete, perfect understanding of you and your circumstances. My grasp of your situation is far better than your grasp of it. So beware of being overly introspective, trying to figure things out by looking inward, leaving me out of the equation. You can be introspective and look inward, but don't forget to leave me out of the equation. Don't leave me out of the equation. So when you realize you have done this and you've looking inward, but you forgot about Jesus, when you realize you've done this, turn to me with a brief prayer, like help me, Jesus, or remind yourself that I am the most important part of the equation of your life. Okay, the most important part of the equation of your life. It's just not life without it. You're not alive. You're spiritually dead. Relax with me. Relax with me a while, letting my loving presence comfort you. Okay? You are in my presence right here, right now. I went ahead and made a place that where I am, you may be also. Hear my live streams on YouTube. So relax with me a while, letting my loving presence comfort you. In this world you will have trouble, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. And I keep overcoming every day, and I bring you hot stuff fresh off the pavement, just right off the street. Stuff I learned today, just hours ago. And these are all trials that I've been through before, and it was no problem. Now, going through a different way, a different stage, I have to go through a different intensity level. So it's gonna ramp up for you too at that intensity level. So you're gonna have to practice more and more these disciplines, and that discipline is relaxing with me, letting my loving presence comfort you. That's not one. I think I got one more here somewhere to close with. Was that it right there? I think I have one more. Where'd it go? I think this is the closer right here. Okay, so even though you will have trouble in this world, be of good cheer. Know that I have overcome the world. Okay, you're gonna overcome it too. Okay, so be of good cheer. Learn to be joyful when things don't go as you would like. I know that's a tough one too. Do not begin each day determined to make everything go your way. I got caught up in that. I thought, you know what, I got this. It's going to go this way. It's going to go that way. It's going to go my way. And I was rudely reminded, do not begin to make each day thinking that you're going to make everything go your way. Because each day you will bump up against at least one thing that doesn't yield to your will. And it could be as trivial as the reflection you see in the mirror or as massive as a loved one's serious illness or injury. So, my purpose for you is not to grant you every wish or to make your life easy. My desire is that you learn to trust me. My desire is that you learn to trust me in all circumstances. Learn to trust me. When you trust me, you see these pictures, you trust. I took these on right here, April 17th, 2020. These are all hand-taken pictures from my cell phone. There was another event happening on the other side of the hill that I was taking pictures of at the same time. This is not CGI. This is not AI. This is not your Photoshop shit, whatever. This is the spiritual realm on display in your clouds. This is your 2,000-year-old prophecy coming true on Easter. So learn to be joyful when things don't go as you would like. What else do I have? Okay, yeah, we're gonna close with this right here. So, if you're intent upon having your way in everything, you will be frustrated much of the time. I don't want you to waste energy regretting things that have happened because the past cannot be changed, but you have my help in the present and my hope for the future. So try to relax, trusting in my control over your life. And remember, I am always close to you, and there is abundant joy in my presence. In fact, in fact, in fact, my face radiates with joy that shines upon you. Remember, I am always close to you, and there is abundant joy in my presence. My face radiates with joy that shines upon you from the moon. Okay. Think that's it for our spiritual report. We got all kinds of other ditties going on. While we're here really quick, today was November 1st, or was now, and the day after Halloween, there are some clearance sales on Halloween items, right? So every November 1st, I go to the closing down Halloween shop. I go to that shop and just see if, they knock down some prices on some cool gear or whatever. Maybe I can find a good mask. Well, I went into the shop and there was a gentleman who had bought this little witch doll, and he had placed this doll on top of his baby carriage. And down below in the lower part of the baby carriage is this little baby asleep, all bundled up, and you don't even see it. But he set the witch in the baby carriage, and it looked like the baby was a witch. Anyways, we're in the checkout line, and I look over and I smile at this gentleman. And I say, "Oh, what a cute baby." And he laughs. He gets the joke. He laughs and he smiles back. He says, "Yeah, she gets it from her mom." So, quite the true story. It actually happened. And then just moments later, while I'm still laughing with this gentleman, he's a good sport. I loved his comeback. He says, "Yeah, she takes after her mom." But then, while we're in the checkout line, this elderly lady, kind of hunched over, really kind of ornery, comes busting through and comes up to the cashier and just really ornery, screaming at the cashier, "You're out of witches." And then again, this gentleman and I look at each other and look at her, and he says, "I think there's one more." Jeremy Christopher has a question. There we go. Good. I know it takes a second for the delay, but when you get that, ask your question. What about relationships? Well, what about relationships? You should be healing relationships. You should try to be making amends and bonds and, well, healing broken relationships, being honest with others in the relationships that you do have. Show integrity. If you're married, hold up your vows. It's a good question, but I think that's what about relationship with me? What about the relationship you have with me? Because see, this isn't a religion. This isn't about religion. This is about a relationship. When you understand that I am here, that I am a man, that I have returned, this is me in the clouds right here, and you are making a relationship with me that most people don't have. Okay? That's a relationship. You're getting to know me. I know all about you, but you're getting to know me. Okay, I'm a very complex individual, and I got lots of good stuff for you, and I can give you peace during times that just seem impossible to be peaceful in. So it felt good to finally ask about Brian's life. I hope someday he will answer how he does daily. Okay. I can give you more details about my life if you would like. My daily thing is very, very brutal. I can't even describe some of the stuff because, well, it's just downright heartbreaking, and you probably wouldn't watch the show much. You'd just be too heartbroken. So a lot of the stuff I kind of keep to myself just because I'm a humble guy. or try to be a humble guy, and I don't go around telling everybody all my problems and stuff, but it does get painful at times. Like, for instance, the other day I had a cramp in my back. You guys get a cramp in your calf every once in a while, right? For a couple minutes, and it hurts. But that cramp in my back was all day. And I couldn't stand up straight. I could barely walk. I was in the fetal position on the bed, so it was excruciatingly painful. Around Halloween, unfortunately, we have some sick, twisted individuals in this world that like to do child sacrifice and all kinds of nasty, nasty deeds around Halloween. Imagine how that feels to me. Okay, because I get to experience it from both sides, the perpetrator and the victim. And it's quite disturbing to have to experience both sides of it. It's really, really disturbing to have to experience both sides, see through the killer's eyes and the victim's eyes at the same time. It can be very, very disturbing. And that's why I take these tools that I have right here, and I use those every day. That's why I take what I have and I pass it on to you, because when that happens to you, you're gonna be able to deal with it, or anybody else would not be able to. Okay. So good questions. I love your questions. Gives me hope. Marcia, my little darling, you have the faith of a saint. You have actually you've surrendered, and you're finding the benefits of it, and I'm so happy for you. Okay, it's not about me and this and that. It's what I have for you and how I can help you. Many go through what I do, and everybody is going to have to go through what I went through. And you will be the ones with the biggest head start, with the real tools, with the real relationship. Everybody else will just be hoping and waiting for the rapture. They're still waiting. They're going to be sourly disappointed when the rapture doesn't happen the way Hollywood portrayed. I don't know why all these Bible scholars, they are Bible scholars that insist that the word rapture is in the Bible. It is not. It says, when you see these things come to pass, look up. Look up into the clouds. You will see me coming in the clouds. You won't see me coming on the network news. You won't see me coming in the Drudge Report or on CNN. Okay? You will only see me coming in the clouds. So when these things come to pass, pull your head out of your phone, out of the chat room, look up into your clouds, point your phone at the clouds instead, and get caught up with me in the clouds. So you're getting caught up like a good book or a good song, a really good YouTube live stream, something that blows everybody else out of the water because of you're caught up like a good book or good song. You're caught up with me in the clouds. When you get caught up with me in the clouds, you get taken away from your circumstances for a while. You realize who I am and that I'm back, and that brings you peace, hope, courage, strength to continue to stand, walk, and fight until this journey is over. Yep, you surrendered, had 5 back surgeries, and you healed yourself. You know what? I want everybody in this chat room right now, you don't have to put it in the chat room, or even in replay. I want you to repeat to yourself right now, I refuse to be sick. I refuse to be sick. Therefore, nothing will touch you, nothing will sicken you, because I refuse to be sick. Quit telling yourself, I don't feel very good today. I think I'm getting a cold. Well, you just talk yourself right into it. Why don't you talk yourself right out of it and tell yourself, I refuse to be sick. I will never be sick ever again a day in my life. Never a sniffle, never a cough, never nothing ever again. Why? Because the Lord said so. And then just go live that way. And you will. You will. Your willpower has power. You put your mind to something, you can do it. You include me, and you're unstoppable. The only problem is you try to take these things on alone. And I get caught up in that too. You know me, thinking, I'm all this and all that. I got control of this. Nope, I forgot to pray. I forgot to use the tools that were there. I went headlong in, trying to take control of the situation, got caught in my own mistake. Whoops, I knew better than to do that. So, duly noted, mark it down, hot off the street, bring it to you. Don't get caught doing that stuff. You'll catch yourself doing it. And when you do, just remind yourself, hey, it's not about performance. It's about how you're going to salvage your day. Because your days are going to get really bumpy here really soon. You guys can all see this coming, right? Okay? So these are going to get bumpy. You're going to need this. That's why I continue to show these images, so you will have your foundation on which you can fall back on which you can trust, on which you can rely on. The only thing you can trust and rely on anything anymore. Okay? And it's the real deal. You can rest assured. Okay? I showed you the marks on my feet, the marks on my side. I've showed you Jesus and Mary and Mary and angels in my garage. Showing you all kinds of wonderful stuff. And gee, all these things are coming to pass. 2,000-year-old prophecies are happening all over the place. It must be that time frame for the rapture. Everybody's like, oh, the rapture should be happening any time now. Well, it is, but just not the way Hollywood portrayed. And if you are here at this channel and you see me here in the clouds and you're caught up with me in the clouds here, where I went ahead and made a place that where I am, you can be also. If you're here caught up with me in the clouds, you are raptured. You are the saved. You are the ones that will endure with the tools that you have. You are building a relationship with me. Okay? And that's what gives you your strength, your hope, and your courage. When you trust me, when you believe me. It's always been about belief and trust. Imagine if you found a rare gold coin. This is a really priceless coin because it's rarity, and you bring it to somebody, one of your friends. You're like, you're not going to believe this. I found the rarest coin in the world, and they smack it out of your hand. No, it's not. They don't believe you. It's not worth $16 million, and they slap it out of your hand and it rolls down the drain. Wouldn't that kind of crush your spirits there? So, don't let that happen to you. You are here, caught up with me in the clouds, where I went ahead and made a place where I am, you can be also. You are technically raptured. Your faith is now complete. You now know. Or do you know? Are you still second guessing? Are you still having issues with this? If you are, don't give up. Keep trying. It's not easy. Okay? Nothing worth having in life comes easy. So if it doesn't click right away, keep working at it. Do not quit until the miracle happens. And when it does, and when it clicks and you go, oh my God, this is real, and you use the tools and the disciplines that I give you, you will have the peace that transcends your circumstances, and you will start making glory after glory after glory. You will overcome circumstances, and when you do, you will get a little glory from it. And all you're doing is moving from glory to glory to glory to glory to glory as you go through each day and overcome each day, salvaging your day, not getting not getting depressed, falling into that pit of self-pity. Okay? You got to keep your chin up. Try to endure this the best you can. It's progress, not perfection. Your performance anxiety should not be there. We're not here for performance. It's about trust. It's about trust. When you trust and you see and you believe, then you feel secure. That's how it works. And be secure and know that I am back. I am here. I have been here for 7 years. Nobody has believed or trusted or taken it seriously, and pretty soon, that's going to be their only option left. You have already taken that option and are reaping the rewards of the disciplines and the tools that I give you. Okay? It's because I love you. All right? I want you to understand what this life is about. It's a test of character. Okay? You want to hang out for eternity with the coolest dude in the universe? Well, I don't like to hang out with a bunch of thugs and criminals and liars. This is a test of quality. It's a quality test of see who gets to, chill with the big guy for eternity. So it's more about who you are and how much you trust me and how much you use me. You know, you can pray twice a day or you can pray 200 times a day. I try to pray for every little action you do. It's very hard, but when you do, things go smoother. When you forget to, the road gets bumpy until you're reminded, until you finally get frustrated enough and you take a timeout, put yourself in a timeout, and you're like, okay, I'm frustrated. I'm at my wit's end. God, grant me the serenity to accept the people I cannot change. God, grant me the serenity to accept that there are people I cannot change. Give me the courage to change what I can, which is myself. So give me the courage to at least change myself. Okay? It sounds like an AA prayer, but it's a prayer that is very, very effective. And if you have to say it 10 times in a row, do it. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the things, people, situations, circumstances that I cannot change. Help me accept that I cannot change them, that you're in control. When you let go of that control, you let go of that stress, you give it to me. The moment you do that, I make a beautiful little collage of how you overcame that stress, and we have a glory. And then you go from that victory, that little glory, into the next one. Oops, somebody cut you off in traffic. Now you're cussing at them. Whoops, turned it into a prayer instead. Lord, help me. I'm cussing at this guy, and he's really pissed me off. And you poured out your heart, and you overcame it. Now you feel better. That's another glory. And we move from glory to glory to glory to glory. Chalking them up. I know what to do with them. I know what to do with your adversity and how you overcome it. Okay? Make beautiful collages of your overcomings, as long as you did it with me. Okay? That's how this works. You're the elite. They're the criminals. Okay? I don't know why they refer to them as elite. They are far from elite. So that would make you guys the elite, the ones that trust and believe me, that have found the miracle, who actually apply it to their life in these hard times and are finding a peace, that just this odd peace that overcomes your circumstances, this weird comfort that everything's going to be all right, even though it looks like it's falling apart. It's falling into place. Everybody else sees it falling apart, but with the right perspective, you can see that everything is falling into place. And when you see Israel overrun, everybody's going to say, "Oh, there goes your God was wrong." No. It says in the Bible, Israel will be overrun. So don't be fooled when they say, "Oh, your God failed when Israel gets overrun." It shouldn't shock you at all. You could point right back to them and go, "Wrong. It says in the Bible that's going to happen." So don't get played by the media. Okay, they're the culprits. When this election doesn't pan out the way everybody wanted to, you're going to realize the ones who lied and stirred up this hornet's nest were your mainstream media. And they're going to have to answer. Yeah, they're in for a shocker, aren't they? And then when you know this and you understand that these guys are playing games that they don't really understand the consequences, you think evil is going to get away with what they're doing? With this watching over them, every move, every thought, every action, from the victim to the perpetrator's viewpoint, they're in for a shock. And you will see your enemies served up before you. And that's what you're seeing right now, aren't you? seeing how the media and all of a sudden people are getting exposed, and the ugliness that was always there is starting to come to the surface, and the light is being is shining on these exposing what's going on. Just like it said in the Bible, all this stuff will be shouted from the rooftops. Well, when you have a Wi-Fi receiver in your house and you're watching these political ads and you're watching all the drama that's going down, that's pretty much shouting from the rooftop. Yeah, all these prophecies are coming true. They're just in a different way than the wording in the Bible says. Or man's logic tries to say, oh, they must mean this. Caught up in the clouds must mean, oh, snatched up, like a big hand comes out of the cloud and just grabs you off the ground and snatches you into the air. Caught up must mean catching away. A hand catches you and whisks you away. No, caught up. When you get caught up in a song, you get caught up in a book, you get caught up in a TikTok thread. Sometimes you can be talking with a friend for hours and you get caught up in that conversation. You don't even notice 3 hours has passed. That's what caught up means. Did anybody even bother to go to a dictionary and look it up? They didn't. Nobody even bothers to go look up these terms. They didn't even look them up in the dictionary. Oh, I theorize that it means this. Really? And then we'll make up a word that doesn't even exist, insert it into the theology, and have everybody expecting this wonderful rapture event. Well, it is a wonderful rapture event, isn't it? If you know what's going on and you have the right perspective, it's a wonderful to know that you're rescued, that you're saved, that you're complete in me, that I am here, that I am back, that you are following, watching, studying, just like all these faces, UFOs, ghosts, entities, everything's watching, following, and studying my every move because of who I am. Because of who I am. I am. Okay, and you are truly followers. That's how this works. When you apply this, then you're really walking the walk. You're finding the peace and the strength and the hope and the courage to continue on where most people are losing their minds. Okay, it's a battle of your soul. It's a battle of your mind. Okay, these guys are going to try every last thing they can to scare you, and they're going to be pulling out all the stops, and you're going to need the best thing for all the stops. When somebody pulls out all the stops, you're going to need the best thing to counter that, and it's right here, right here, right here, right here at this channel. Okay, I have no other way of doing this. Okay. Can't just come out and blurt out and say, hey, I'm so-and-so. Because that doesn't go over too well in this society. They're like, yep, you're a nut job. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but if you go take a look at what happens over my head in the clouds everywhere I go, no matter what town I go to, this stuff follows me everywhere I go. But if you bothered to follow me around from town to town and look up, you would see that this happens. And then all of a sudden, I'm not crazy anymore. Doc, you have some issues that you need to address. And I've helped a lot of doctors through this process too, from insane asylums and police officers, judges. This whole process I've been through, I've helped people along the way. It's the oddest thing. Being persecuted and slammed and not being believed, and still helping people along the way. Because it's what I do. It's what I volunteered for. It's what I signed up for. The mission impossible. But not impossible when you include Jesus in it. Then all things are possible with Jesus. Okay? That's why I do this mission. It's not impossible, just very hard. I love you guys. I miss you guys. I have to go for right now. And until my next show, I want to be back soon, but I got a lot going on. Okay, spiritual warfare as is at its most intense right now, and it's hard having the whole world against you. The whole world against you, except for like 300 followers here at this channel. But otherwise, you got a lot of people with misconceptions, misbeliefs, and their lack of knowledge. My children die for lack of knowledge. And I don't want that for you guys. I want you guys to have that knowledge and take that knowledge, run with it, share it, spread it. Go ahead, bring that light into other people's lives. Give them the comfort, the support, the encouragement that I bring for you. You take that and bring that into other people's lives, and that's what will give your life meaning. You will all of a sudden see the meaning of your life when you start doing that. You'll go, oh, wait a second. This whole time, the age-old question, what's the meaning of life? What's the meaning of life? What is the meaning of life? Life is a test of character. How you doing so far? Yeah. There's the age-old answer right there. What's the mystery to life? Life is a test of character and faith, and how well you're going to trust, surrender, trust, and believe, and then apply to your life and enjoy. Okay? And through your suffering as well. All right, that's all I got for right now. Like I said, I got a lot going on, and I have to go juggle. These people are insane at this time of the year. Witchcraft and the practice of child sacrifice is off the hook. You know why your border's open? To mask the child trafficking. It's to mask the child trafficking and the child exploitation, which leads to the, nibbling of children's feet and the killing of them in the womb. Yeah, that's not abortion. That's called infanticide. Like homicide, suicide, that's infanticide. And if you called it such, that would probably make people up in arms. But they need to realize what they're doing and what's really going on. They're going to pay a price for that. So it's very important that you guys understand what's going on, who you are, what your identity is. Everybody having identity crises right now. They can't tell if they're a fighter jet or a transvestite crocodile, right? They don't know what their identity is. Well, you know what your identity is. You belong to me. I bought you at a price. I paid a heavy price for you. You belong to me. You are a child of God. That's your identity. The moment you believe me, the moment you trust me, is the moment you become a true child of God. I complete your faith. You can know that your prayers are heard and they're answered, just not the way you think, but they do get answered. Okay? Just not the way you think. Sometimes you see it, sometimes you don't. But your prayers are being heard. Okay? This is the real thing. That's what gives you hope, courage, and integrity to continue on. Okay? It's me just rambling. I do have to go. I miss you guys. I don't want to go. I don't want to have to go do this, but I get to. That children's movie, Monsters, Inc., more real than ever. Yes. They have been giving you subliminal messages through the movies over the years, hinting at what's... Yes, they hint at it, and they just won't come out and acknowledge me. And they know. And so do you. The Lion of the tribe of Judah. Okay. And unconditional love. Where'd that go? Unconditional love that transcends all time across the universe for eternity. Okay. The Holy of Holies. You belong to me because I love you. If you love me, I love you. For those that hate me, boy, do they have a nasty, nasty surprise. And that's something else that I gotta kind of tell you guys about too as we get through this too, because there is more than just this. Okay, so, but it's very hard to explain, and usually when I do, I lose like half of my subscribers because they get everything misconstrued. But we'll get there in time. I'm just thankful for you guys showing up tonight. Hopefully you guys learned some stuff. You had a nice time. You got that peace. Love is the key, Stephen. Yes, it is. Love and forgiveness. You know what? I got one for you. If it were like Christmas time and you were getting a gift, right? You were receiving a gift and you got the one that you wanted because somebody else knew you well and they were like, yeah, I know what he wants. He doesn't even know he wants it. I know him better than he knows himself. I got the perfect gift, right? When you do that, you put some thought into somebody else. When you do that, it's doing unto others as you would have done unto you, right? Would you like somebody to get you just the right gift that, surprise you? Oh, how did you know I wanted one of those? Well, that's what you do in return. Okay, when you're giving, you do unto others as you would have done for yourself. A little trick I learned in the kitchen. One of my chefs, when I was training way back in the day, one of the best chefs in the world, taught me one of the best lessons. He said, cook it as if you were cooking it for yourself. This isn't just a slap together like, you see in the picture on the menu. No, cook it like you're making it for yourself. So if it was your bacon burger, well, you want that nice slice of cheese, not the broken 3/4 piece. You want that full slice. Yeah, that one. And if you're making it for yourself, well, you don't want the burned bacon. You want those two perfect strips right there. Ooh, and I like my fries crispy, so you cook stuff the way you would do it for yourself. You prepare stuff for others the way you would do it for yourself. If you expect, hard work out of other people, well, you should be that hard worker for them in replace. It's very simple stuff. If you do unto others as you would have done unto you, everybody gets along. We all love each other and we all get love and appreciation. That's what this is about. Love and appreciation as well. Okay, I know a lot of you guys might be lacking some of that right around now. And that's because you're being shown everything else is going to fail you until you understand the one that loves you is right here. Okay, and I'm suffering through that too. All my loved ones have shown some true colors and said some things, and they're not even aware. But then that's when you have to be forgiving. They know not what they do. You forgive them. Love is the key. And you just try to move forward, little baby steps at a time until they can grasp what unconditional love is. That means no matter what, still love you, forgive you for your sins if you're sorry for them. If you can't forgive somebody if they don't say sorry, right? So very simple stuff, really. It's just hard to do. Okay. I love you guys. I miss you guys. Until my next show, I will be back. I am already back. Can't you tell? Can't you tell? Look, I'm already back. Already back. Breaking headlines around the world. If every country knew that I was here, they would freeze in their tracks. Wait a second. What are we doing? And he's already here, and we're going to do what right in front of him? yeah, you'd all freeze in your tracks knowing that I'm watching every little move. I know what your plans are. Okay, you can't escape me. No way. Doesn't matter where you go. It's so simple, Brian. People can't see it. Yeah, it is so simple that people can't see it. That's the problem. That's what I could walk around in public, walk right into Walmart, and nobody even knows. I walk right up to people. Hi, how you doing? Little do they know who they're talking to. And I smile, and make them laugh, and tell them a joke. You're like, oh, that guy's so cool. He's so funny. I like it. Every time he comes in here, he always makes us laugh. Always makes the ladies blush when I tell them, oh, I get you some flowers or something like that. And they, oh, you're so sweet. Little do they know who they're talking to. That's why it's important that you do unto others as you would do unto yourself, because you might entertain angels and not know it. You could be talking to the man and not even know it. Unless you remember at this channel, then you might recognize my voice and be like, hey, I know that guy. All right. Sure love you guys. You are patient. You are endurance. And thank you for hanging out for 2 hours and 16 minutes of your precious time, because that time is very precious to me. See, I couldn't get 5 minutes of people's time to just look, to just go look. I'm like, hey, I'm not saying I'm this and I'm that. I'm saying go look at what I've discovered. Oh, no, we can't entertain your fantasies, your delusions. No, not fantasy, not delusion. Sorry, Doc, you're the one in delusion and in fantasy. So let me help you out there, Doc, and take a minute to see your salvation. Coming in the clouds with power and great glory, your redemption, your Redeemer, is nigh, is near. He's closer than you think. You're right here. Okay, your redemption is here. Look up, be redeemed, be complete, be finished. Know that you belong to me. You're a child of the Most High God. Okay? And pray like you are. Continue fighting and walking. All right? One day at a time, one step at a time, sometimes one moment at a time for some people, okay? I went through a rough bout the other day, and it was one moment at a time. Thank you, God, for this moment. Please get me through this next one. Okay, made it through that one. This next one, please, Lord. And just however you have to do it, be patient, be persistent, methodical, try to be efficient, save your energy. If you find that you're getting frustrated, quit wasting your energy running around chasing your tail. Take a break, regain composure. Remember, you get to do it. You don't have to do it. That will change your perspective and turn drudgery into delight. Okay? Knowing that you're going to achieve a glory after overcoming it. Okay? Then your drudgery becomes delight. Whew. Anything else you want me to say, Lord? Is that it tonight? Okay. I guess we're done now. All right. Until my next show, I will be back. You are indeed caught up with me in the clouds, where I went ahead and provided a place that where I am, you may be, here live on YouTube. You are caught up with me. You are raptured. You are complete. And remember, the more you trust, the more you believe me, the more you get in return. The more you lean into me, the more you get in return. You trust a little, you get a little bit of return. Trust fully, you get the full return. Okay, that's how it works. And you guys are so thankful for the people that are actually applying this, that have taken this seriously and are actually just going and doing it. They realize, oh, wait a second, it's not really about Brian and him being this and all that right now at this time and juncture. It's really about what he has for me. It's the tools that I'm giving you so you can salvage your day. Okay, each day is a test. So try your best to salvage a day. If it doesn't work right away, keep trying. Sometimes if it doesn't work during that day, I'll just take a nap. I'll go to sleep and sleep on it and recover the next day. Okay, whatever you have to do, don't get sucked into that pit of self-pity, and don't get into depression because you don't stand a chance then. All right? All you preppers that are prepping, what good is all your prep if you aren't mentally prepped, spiritually prepped? This is where you need to do your prepping. Okay? Spiritually, mentally, emotionally. This will give you courage and peace and endurance. That's it. I love you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. I am a man of my word. I will be back. I am already back, and I am soon to come.